Hello folks, this is Roz, otherwise known as Iron Beer, here again with another 4-pack Return to Ravnica Seal event. And it's Christmas. Well, it's not really Christmas, but as it gets closer to Christmas, it's like Christmas for me because I really like 4-pack. It has that element where you don't really know exactly what you're going to open up, so it's kind of fun to see the different cards that you get, and it's like a present. It's like opening up a present. But that aside, let's take a look at some of the cards we're going to have here today. We'll go ahead and sort by rarity. One of the things I'd kind of like to do today is just talk a little bit about the cards as I pick them and how I felt about them when I first started Return to Ravnica, and how I feel about them now after I've played just several tournaments and got to mess around with the cards, whether I felt their value went up or down. So looking at our rares here, we have a couple of pretty neat rares. Wayfaring Temple is really good. This Elemental is bleh. The Deadbridge Goliath is great. And the Elocutors is like whatever. It's playable. Maybe I will even play it. But the Wayfaring Temple and the Deadbridge Goliath, really like them. I'd like to have some things hopefully that really kind of mesh with these guys. So let's take a look at what we have in the white and green area. We'll go ahead and sort by color real quick. It looks like white and green are just kind of average. They're all kind of average. Blue is big here, but let's see if blue actually has anything of note. It's got a Soulsworn Spirit, a pair of Inspirations. I don't really know how I feel about that. In an Action Injunction, which is okay. Doorkeeper, Fairy Imposter. Fairy Imposter is one of those cards that I'd like to just mention. Actually, what we'll do here real quick is pull up card and just kind of do that and do that. Fairy Imposter is kind of like one of those cards that in the beginning I wasn't really sure how I felt about it, and what I found in the end about Fairy Imposter is that if it's in the right deck, that card is like an 8 or a 9. If it's in just like a regular or a deck not made to utilize it, it's terrible. But a deck with Azurius Arresters, Justiciars, maybe even Void Wielders later on in the game to get more Void Wielding out. And then plus if you're playing against a opponent that plays things like Stab Wounds or Paralyzing Grasps or Arrests, it's fantastic. So I kind of like it for that. But anyway, let's go ahead over here with the white. Things that I would potentially play in white is this Ethereal Armor, this Concordia Pegasus, the Apparition, yeah, maybe an Armory Guard. Eyes in the Skies is good with Wayfaring Temple, I like that. And a pair of Knightly Valors. Knightly Valor is one of the cards I'd actually like to talk about. That is a card that my opinion has changed on twice, actually. When the card first came out, I thought to myself, this is a good card. And then a couple of games went by and I was like, this isn't really a good card because it just takes too long to get out and just everyone's drafting Rakdos. So like the games are over by like turn 5 or 6. And now that people are starting to get into, not everyone's just shooting straight for Rakdos, people are actually trying for like Izzet and things like that. I really think that this is from a good card to a great card. I really enjoy Knightly Valor now, and I think it's fantastic. Especially with Populate, and even if you don't have Populate, it's a good card to put out there to give you that edge when the board has stalled, and that's what I really like about it. Let's look at what else we got here. We have Selesnya Charm, Call the Conclave. Wow, that's not bad. We really don't have anything else in the multicolor. We do have a Centaur's Herald, Druid's Deliverance, which I would not mind playing actually, Drudge Beetle. Chorus of Might is probably like the worst green pump. It's the green pump that I dislike the most, but I might play it. And the Karazda Monitor is like, maybe I'll play that, I'm not really sure. But looking at this right now, we already have 16 cards. Our costs here are kind of wacky. We've got a bunch of 2-drops, and then we have like a Wayfaring Temple for a 3-drop, and then we have like some of these 4-drops over here. I think we're going to end up splashing a color, as I normally do. And considering we have a Selesnya Guildgate and a Golgari Guildgate, I think that color is going to be black. And I am seeing some decently strong black cards here. I'm seeing good black cards like a Stab Wound. The Sewer Shambler is not terrible. I don't know if it's as strong as I want it to be right now, just because this isn't really like a Golgari deck. And there is a Sluiceway Scorpion. There is also a Golgari Longlegs. That kind of fills up the 5 spot a little bit deeper than I would like. If I was to put something down like the Stab Wound, I would... what would I do here? Maybe get rid of the Karazda Monitor. Let's see. It shows us as having 7 creatures, but in actuality, we have a Call to Conclave. Selesnya Charm is like kind of sort of a creature. I don't really know like how to categorize that, but yeah, it's a creature, I guess. Eyes in the Skies, of course, is the whole purpose of that is for creatures, and then Nightly Valors are like half a creature. So we're kind of closer to where we should be. The Populate theme is like not grotesquely strong in this deck. There's a couple of Populates, mainly with the Eyes in the Skies and the Wayfaring Temple. This looks okay, but I kind of wonder if there's something else I would rather do here. Something else I would rather splash. Let's take a look at our other cards, just to kind of see where they're sitting at. We'll put this pile over here. So we looked at blue already. Black, pretty much the only thing that was kind of cool was the Stab Wound. The Sewer Shambler's okay. I might even play it. And that's pretty much it. The Deviant Glee is great if you're playing Rakdos. I mean, maybe it's okay even if you're not playing Rakdos, but I think Rakdos is pretty much where you want to be with Deviant Glee. In red, red's pretty decent. Red, we have a Splatter Thug, which is fantastic. Racketeer is like okay. I would play it. Cobble Brute is good, but Cobble Brute is better with something like a Deviant Glee, or even better yet, if I had a Pursuit of Flight. I would really enjoy it. Bloodfray Giant is amazing. Traitorous Instinct is okay. I shouldn't say that. Traitorous Instinct is not okay. Traitorous Instinct is good. But Traitorous Instinct is like... It's not a bomb, but it's really kind of volatile. It's one of those cards that like it either does good work or it like wins the game. So I guess yeah, that makes it a pretty good card. Okay. Beyond that, in our multicolors here, in the green, basically everything that's good in green is over here, even things that are not so good in green, like Chorus of Might. The Karazda Monitor is like okay, Urban Burgeoning is like whatever. These are like cards where my opinion has not really changed of them. Karazda Monitor, I thought it was an okay card, and it's still an okay card. So over here we have a Goblin Electromancer in blue-red, 2 Chemist's Tricks. That's not really impressing me. There is an Azur's Electrocutors that we were talking Elecutors, however you want to say it, like I was saying before. There's also this Dramatic Rescue, which is pretty good. Those aren't bad, actually. I would even just chuck those down there real quick. There's Rakdos Keyrune and an Izzet Keyrune. If we did something like an Izzet, I guess we could put that in there. That would be like essentially our only fixing. And if we were Izzet, what would we do? Let's see. We'd have that. Man, there's like almost nothing to use with this. I mean, like, you could use a Batterhorn twice, maybe. You could use a Soulsworn Spirit twice. There's a Rune Wing, and Inspiration is like, okay. The Steed is terrible. Paralyzing Grasp. If you notice, as is usually the case for me, I once again have absolutely no removal, except for, like, Paralyzing Grasp. Yay! Let's see, there's an Inaction Injunction, there's a Doorkeeper. This very Imposter is, like, okay. And then we have a Splatter Thug. The Cobble Brute isn't bad. Traitorous Instinct, and then the Bloodfray Giant, which is definitely not bad at all. This is pretty cool. The the monocurve here is like more what I would like to see. I mean, there's this elemental. It's like a 1-drop. That's like a 1/2, and that's maybe all it really is. And then there's this blister coil weird. I don't really know how I feel about it. Oh, and there's the Goblin Electromancer. There's not like a whole lot of reason to play that because I think we have, what do we have? We have Inaction, Injunction, and like an Inspiration, and like a Trader's Instinct that it'll work with. And that's basically it. So this deck here, it's got 10 creatures in it, which is like, that's still really, I don't know. Oh, and the Bluster Squall. We'll put everything down here real quick, even the things that don't work with the Electromancer. Kirun is like kind of sort of a creature. I don't know. I'll leave it up there. So we have 10 creatures. The creatures have a decent curve. Our big beater is this Bloodfray Giant, and that's pretty much it. So we're stuck between like a slower but maybe better cards green-white deck, or this blue-red deck. It doesn't really need fixing. It's only 2 colors. I'm not really splashing for anything, but it doesn't have like the firepower that our black, white, green deck has. I'm not going to forget about it. It's not like I'm not going to consider it at all. But I think I'd like to further take a look at our deck over here. And maybe just work with this a little bit more. I mean, the guild gates are going to get used. They just don't count toward our card total. So we have 3 enchantments, which isn't bad. I'm sorry, we have 4 enchantments. I forget about Stab Wound. That does count for the purposes of what we're trying to do here. The cards in this I think are definitely stronger. I mean, cards like Deadbridge, Goliath hitting the ground. That's just a big beefy guy. Cards like Call to Conclave on turn 2, or even a Selesnya Charm for some tricks. Druid's Deliverance, good trick. Stab Wound is kind of like pseudo removal, but that's kind of like only if we're absolutely forced to use it in that capacity. No mana acceleration at all. And I can't even really like splash a key rune with it because it's like the key rune, like it's like, what is the key rune really doing? You know, it's like if I splash that key rune, what is it doing for me? What is it getting me? It's not getting me a Bloodfray Giant, really, because I would need 2 red for that. That's another card, though, that, like if I wanted to put, like, another card in here, I feel like it would be that Bloodfray Giant. Or maybe the Splatter Thug, just to round out our 3-drop. But the Bloodfray Giant is, like, I mean, it's a Bloodfray Giant. It's strong. It's god-awful strong. So we're at 16 right now. Do we do like 4-color weirdness and go with the Rakdos Keyrune? The Rakdos Keyrune is like really good. But it's like I'm splashing for like just this tiny little bit of black. So now it's like I'm going to be splashing for this tiny little bit of black and then like some red to play something like a Bloodfray Giant. Is that really what I want to be doing? Or do I just want to play something safe, something easy, and play something like a Sewer Shambler? Just throw something like a Sewer Shambler in there. Have the Golgari Guildgate. I can throw a couple of, throw in a couple of swamps in there isn't going to be that bad, I don't think. We're coming down on 5 minutes here, so I do need to start thinking about what I definitely want to do. Looking at this deck here, I do not dislike this deck. I think that this deck is good. I like the way it feels. I like the way that it has a little bit of something in the air. because a Concordia Pegasus with a Knightly Valor on it is definitely a viable way to win a game. I like that it has Eyes in the Skies for a little bit more in the air. I like that it has an Armory Guard with 2 Guild Gates. What do I dislike about it? I like that it has a Stab Wound. I like that it has a Wayfaring Temple. Like, this Ethereal Armor kind of seems out of place, but with 2 Knightly Valors, I think it has a lot of value. And it's like, if an Ethereal Armor gets on, like, a Deadbridge Goliath, like, what do you do? What do you do about that? You know, is there really anything that you can throw in front of that? So, looking at this, let's see, 1, like I said, maybe 2, 3, and then kind of 4, 5. This actually has more tricks in it than I'm used to playing in this format. I usually just get stuck with like a bunch of creatures because I don't really have a lot else to play. But I don't mind it. I don't mind this. It gives me something different to do. It just kind of seems like I'm always in black, green, white, and like one day I'd like to try something else. But hey, you know, if things aren't working, we could always mix it up. That's the good thing about this sealed event, is that it's like a Swiss. So, you know, if you get ruined, you know, your first game, you still have, or your first round, you still have 2 other rounds to play. So let's go ahead and add some land here and see where that'll get us. It says 5-4-2, and I think that is appropriate. That's going to get us 3 black, 6 white, and 6 green. And I think that's pretty much where we want to be. I might even drop it down a white to put an extra green on there, but I don't think I will, because let's go ahead and put that down real quick. I don't think I will, though, because like if we sort by color, I think they're kind of, yeah, like a green has like a double green here, but then a white has like an extra card or 2 in the white, and then these are all just green whites. So okay, yeah, I feel pretty good about this deck. We're gonna go ahead and give it a shot. It feels pretty good. We managed to sneak 2 of our rares in there, and our rares aren't half bad. You know, they're not. It's not like opening up a Tristani, but you can't have everything. So let's go ahead and submit our 30-card deck and see if we will be getting underway soon. And I will be back with the first match then.